izule obvious nami usuqhaqela movious yayona umbrella i-podcast enothando labantu thanda nokwazi ngohambo labantu hamba ngefaith futhi ayihambi ngesite kodwa mekumnyama iyayifaka.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Creative Unplugged podcast, where we chill and chat with different creatives. And niyazi ukuthi masesifikile ngisuke ngingahambi ngedwa. Archild Africa.
What's up, everybody? My name is Archild Africa. Welcome once again to another exciting and vibrant episode of the Creatives Unplugged podcast.
And it's about to go down today. Hey, let's say that sisters. The Durban first lady of hip hop, the writer, the rapper, Lex LaFoy.
Hey, Mshigo. Hey,
Welcome.
Archild. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Nice. Good to have you.
That's
the fun of it. If we're freestyle, you know, so good. I remember like back in the days at the Pet Center when we always there, and you started off doing poetry. Back then.
Actually, I started writing songs and poetry, and then I came out as a rapper, and then Iwak introduced me to performance poetry through Poetry Africa, and then for a few years I was doing both poetry and hip-hop. So
we're going to chat more about that. Please just tell us more about your background. Lex LaFoy, where are you from? And maybe the Israel name, surname. You know, please take us through.
Of course. So my name is Ashley LaFoy, and my performance name is Lex LaFoy.
Yes.
As you know, I started as
Lexikon.
Lexikon, the one and only Lex the icon.
I remember that. Yes.
So I mean, from 2005 rather to 2012, I went as Lexikon, and from 2012 I rebranded as Lex LaFoy, and I've been doing it since.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from the beautiful city of Durban. So proud to be
Where
from the
Durban?
OG one. As a child, I grew up in the south in a place called Treasure Beach, which is between Bluff and Wentworth. And later we moved to the north. We moved to Red Hill, Greenwood Park. And for 7 years, I lived in Joburg. So from 2012 to 2020, I was based in Johannesburg. And then I came back home the day before lockdown. You know, when I heard they were closing the country, I'm like, F this, So I've been home ever since. And we're here now.
So like is Durban also primary school during those days?
Yes.
Yeah, which primary school were?
I went to a primary school called Glen Ardell on the Bluff. And then I went to Chelsea Drive in Durban North. And then I went to Northlands Girls High, which my daughter is about to matriculate from.
Wow.
Dude, your daughter's about to matriculate.
So like maybe from primary school, high school, you already like started doing music. Also, you know, I had skills there.
I mean, in school, I had formed an all-girl crew. Rap. We performed at award ceremonies, at fashion shows. We were doing the dance sequences. Back in the day, we would dance to all the songs. So that was a thing.
Nice.
And then I found out my late great granny was also about music. Apparently, when they lived in Overport, apparently they used to push a grand piano like through the streets of Overport because they're going to someone's house and they're gonna go bust it up, so I guess
any project during that time, maybe recordings around high school time, like in the studio. Did you have that experience?
Well, the first time I was ever on stage outside of school, and the first time I ever recorded was when I was in matric. I don't know if people remember it was Wapagong Studios with Larry and his brother and people like Zulu Boy, Raheem, K Black, people that are doing big things in the world today, you know. We were all in the same circle at the same time, and we were recording then. But of course, because we were young, we weren't so serious. You know, it was more about we were having fun, we were getting lit, we were freestyling, we were battling, we were going to the bat center. We were still figuring this thing out.
So the time of Inaba hip-hop sessions, you were there.
It's called.
Those days when to the they used to hold it down. And shout out to Inaba, shout out to Castle, because they used to sponsor the whole vibe. And,
definitely.
You know, we had MCs coming down from Joburg, Cabo Pro Kid. Definitely. That's where Zulu Boy came. They were recognized and they were signed by Obabu Superstore. So how was that journey? You started often by doing poetry.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing poetry, I was rapping, I was recording. It was fun. I won't lie. It was super, super fun. I mean, you know how it is as a creative, where at first you're at home, you don't realize there are other people like you, you know, and the moment you are exposed to that community of other creatives, other artists, you feel like you belong, you know, you feel like there are others who are inspiring you to push it further. So that's how I felt when I found the wider Durban creative community.
Because that scene
during
that time,
it was alive.
Fire.
It was alive.
Fire.
There was no place in South Africa that was popping like Durban. You know, when it comes to hip hop. I remember that time, like many MCs from all over, they used to come down. Let's say, keep it
Doomy came here. Wordsworth from overseas came here. There were so many artists that would flock to Durban because the culture was alive. It was on fire. It was growing.
So you didn't go maybe tertiary, did like any further studies?
I did.
Oh,
actually.
Nice. Tell us more about that. Yes.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you asked.
Yes.
I went to UKZN.
I'm nice.
A UKZN graduate.
Okay, now I'm a UKZN. I should tell.
So yeah, I studied. I graduated with a degree in social science. I majored in psychology and philosophy. And I just told our child last week that this year I started my honors in psychology. Yay!
Well done, girl.
Thank you.
Psychology. You know?
So yeah, I'm majoring in health and community psychology, which I am so in love with. I mean, every week I'm learning something new. I'm learning about myself. I'm digging deep. I'm having to heal from these things, realizing why I was always attracted to the fuck ups.
Self-evaluation.
But it's beautiful because I figured the more I help myself heal, the more I can help others heal. And especially in this day and age, you know, so many people are coming to terms and beginning to understand what mental health is about and why we need it so much. So I'm very excited.
And as it's important to self-evaluate, right? And in psychology, apparently, it's because you want to understand your family better, right? But it's amazing that there's a gap between the degree and the honors. How big of a gap was that between you graduating your degree and now doing your honors?
Well, time-wise, there's a 12-year gap.
Imagine,
So I last studied in 2012 when I graduated. And to be honest, shout outs to my African psychology lecturer, Uluvuyo.
He actually developed the actual course.
He created
African
the
psychology.
Course called African psychology.
Yeah, until this day,
he is a king. He is a legend.
Yes.
So
no Zaitu, I love Zaitu.
Zaitu, I love.
Yeah.
I failed her subject the first time, so I got
it was my
twice.
highest.
Neuro's amazing. So you know, shout outs to Luvuyo. He actually mentioned in our class, you know, he was he's a very practical person. So he would always say, it'd be like, you guys, you're going to graduate at 19, 20, then you're going to practice at 21, 22. How do you expect to counsel people who are married with kids when you are still a child? You know, so what he said stuck with me, you know. I was like, let me go live life. Let me go grow.
Understand.
You know, and get some practical experience of life and then come back to my honors, which is what I'm doing. And thank God I did that, because I understand the material much more when they're talking about, you know what I mean?
The industry.
You know, and then diagnose.
Self-diagnose.
So
yeah, that's amazing. So much during your kids at any times, did you ever like find yourself in a crew, you know, in college? That's where the prime,
definitely,
of the creativity is.
Yo, I mean, in first and second year, we were constantly blazing, ciphering, freestyling. I was missing class like nothing, because
that park,
you know, you know,
open air. Open air, right?
Exactly, open air down there by Jubes, all of it. It was lit, you know. So yeah, I spent a lot of my time in ciphers, writing, performing, growing, nurturing this gift. And then at the end of second year, I got pregnant in second year. So at the end of second year, I gave birth to my daughter. Then I took some time off. At first, I didn't take time off. You know, I had my daughter with me. I would click her on my tummy, and we're going to the ciphers with the baby.
With the baby, you always walk with the baby. I know. With him, the leg, or what do you call this thing?
With the baby in the leg, ciphers.
Like it's a she.
She's a she.
Oh, I would like to meet her.
And she's amazing.
Because give us a man.
Oh man, she's amazing. Her and her friends are blowing up on TikTok. I was there. You know,
girl.
So
it's time you reap the rewards now.
So yeah, man. I mean, my daughter's been raised in this. You know, her dad and I are no longer together, but her dad is also an amazing creative, an animator, a graffiti artist. So she's got extremely strong creative genes. She's amazing. So yeah, end of second year, I give birth to my daughter. I take a few months off. Next thing, I'm back in the ciphers with the baby. And then I had to learn, this is a person. This is a person who has her own biocycle, her own biorhythm. She has her own moods. She needs to sleep when she needs to sleep. Maybe she doesn't want to be at the ciphers today. You know? So there was all this mental, emotional, psychological growth that had to happen at a very early age. I mean, I became a mom at 20. And yeah, it's grown me, but I also feel like it's grounded me in a way that I needed grounding, because I was super hippie. Mhlego knows I was super hippie.
And maybe the experience that you got from that time like made you the kind of person that you are, you know, from the ciphers. I remember Ewok.
Yes.
And then they used to have a show called Live Check.
Yes.
With the Black Moss.
Yes.
And then you took part of it as well.
Man.
I'm not sure if you were part of the organizing team or whatever, but they used to have the Battle of the Year, and I entered every year for a few years. It was amazing. It was so dope. Yeah.
So Manjega Sisi, Aisha, your profile is very extensive. Very extensive. Very extensive, but I know what's the opportunities are you you make sure that you literally like she always makes sure you're there. Let's start now. We MTV VJ search. How did that go?
It was amazing. So I was crowned second in the country. So I'd won the Durban leg of the first MTV base VJ competition. The search. So I won for Durban in 2005, and then there were two other people. Sizwe Dlomo went on to Joburg because he had lost it in Durban. He won it in Joburg, and then there were three of us head to head. We were all trained by On Cue Productions and MTV France, you know, in presenting, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
That's amazing, because much wish you could see you multidimensional. If you can go that far for presenting, imagine what you have experience for, which is rapping.
Thank you.
And then you also, not MTV, it wasn't just the VJ search, Ishuga.
Oh yes, I also I also worked with MTV on MTV Sugar. So my company, Artistry Productions, I use it for my own music as Lex LaFoy. I use it as the entity to release through, and every now and again when there are other opportunities for young artists, young creatives, I also use it as a vessel to get jobs and work for them. So at the time they were looking for background artists for MTV Sugar, and my friend Tishiwe was one of the directors at the time. Tishiwe is Gobu. She's amazing. They are amazing. And so they reached out and they said they needed, a whole lot of fresh, young, creative people for the show as background actors. And I was like, don't worry, I got you. And and then we just, I worked on MTV Sugar. I worked on Queen Sono in the same capacity, also made a little cameo. I worked on Hustle on ETV. So while I was in Joburg, I was very blessed to explore the film side of things, which I love film. I love production. I'm also, teaching myself to write scripts so that eventually I want to manifest those scripts into film. I think it's really about being a storyteller, not just being a writer or a rapper, but being a storyteller as a whole, a creative, an artist as a whole, because we have so much to share, we have so much to give. So I don't like when people, try to box us in.
Yes, I know.
Exactly.
Rapper only, they don't, they don't know what more you can offer.
Absolutely. So, when I worked in film, it was around 2015, 2016. And it was a very blessed time for me to understand a new dynamic with my music, because by earning income through film, it improved my relationship with my music. Because remember, any relationship where you are dependent can leave room for abuse, including your relationship with your work and your craft and your calling. And when I started earning money from film, I felt such a relief. Like I could create music that I wanted to create. And I've tried to, and I have pursued and honored that up until today. Because I don't ever want to find myself in a place where I'm dependent on somebody else, on somebody else's opinion, on somebody else's resources to release my music. Creative freedom and flexibility is very important for an artist. I want to show, like especially if you're an independent artist and you create something, you want to have the freedom to have input, no matter how it's released, and because it's your story, right? Absolutely.
So now that you're an artist, you're a young female artist, between Durban and Joburg. How has that been for you, transitioning from between, or not even transitioning, being here and there, we film, we music, and how has it been in terms of like, obviously, I'm not gonna say gatekeeping, but you do understand what, as females, there's some certain hoops you might be expected to cross, or how has that been for you? Because now you talking about this show, it is also Eminem Pagat, right? You there, international shows that you're a part of, right? The competition that you were part of. So how are you able to maneuver as a young female artist that is such a creative?
I think the international platform you're referring to was the Lyricist Lounge gig in 2018, December. That was amazing. Shout outs to Lyricist Lounge.
Nice.
So, the Lyricist Lounge they came to the co-founder, Anthony Marshall, represented Lyricist Lounge in December 2018 in Joburg, and together with Anti-Bullshit, Anti-B, they held a Joburg South African edition. And that was epic. Mhligo, from our generation of hip-hop, we always looked up to things like Lyricist Lounge, the quality of the rappers that they represented. So yes, and of course Lyricist Lounge was known for bringing artists to the world, like
Eminem.
down the line, Eminem, Mos Def, etc., etc. So yes, navigating. To go back to your question, navigating. It hasn't been easy. As a female, it has not been easy, especially if you don't have a support system behind you, be it your family or a manager or anything, you know. So I mean, people who have watched my journey would know that I use collaboration as a tool to grow and progress. I've never had a manager. I have when I worked with Ifani, that was a very interesting dynamic, signed to an independent label, but also being signed to an independent label that is run by an artist is not a good dynamic. It's not. I've learned that now, but at the time I didn't know that, you know. But I can say that from experience now, and I'm definitely grateful for the growth that I have with having worked with Ifani. But I wouldn't advise other young artists to sign to independent labels that are run by artists, because the dynamics will never allow you to grow beyond that artist, even if your vision is further than that artist. But I'm very grateful to artists that I have worked with, who have put me on, you know. I feel like it always came at a price, whether that price is containment, trying to put you in a box and in a space that they can control, or trying to limit you to a certain degree. But I don't always think these things are intentional, but it's things you learn along the way. So the dynamics haven't been easy. I have had to make the mistakes and learn from the mistakes myself, because we are the generation that have pioneered, which means we are out here learning the mistakes so that the generation behind us don't make them.
They're thriving,
Absolutely. And when we started, there was very little infrastructure. There was very little industry infrastructure, and so we were kind of just throwing everything everywhere and seeing what lands, you know. Whereas now things are a lot more structured, a lot more orderly. People have representatives, there are agencies, there are managers, there are companies that represent artists. So, and of course there wasn't the internet.
Imagine.
So it was a completely different time that we blew up in, you know. And then of course adapting now to digital.
How is that, man?
It's crazy.
It's crazy being considered a digital migrant, you know. But it's been dope, because on the one hand it's changed the dynamic from the streets online, but on the other hand it also empowers independent artists like myself, so that even if there are gatekeepers, even if there are people that don't want to see you win, and there are, trust me, I know, even if there are those people, there are others that will always cling to your sound, that you will attract, that will find you because of what it is you're doing.
And I've also we've always seen when you wear many hats, right? And I had a pleasure of featuring in one of your music videos, and it was for the first, like if you know people in the industry, like music video, all I did was ask her to be there, and she was there, and she didn't expect anything from me. But you, that day, you were like, no, we're gonna vet you, you hired in your wardrobe as well, and I had a cameo in the video, but at the end of the day, but I was able to also walk away with something. How are you able to do that? I also work with collaboration. And if it's easy to say face a season, because now but when you always make sure there's something so I know what's Samro Music Creation Support Fund. Take us through that journey.
So I've been very blessed to receive a number of different fundings through funding applications. Samro, NAC, NFVF, I mean, the Samro application I had done to complete the Lexikon 2.0 project. Shout out to Mshigo for helping on that.
It's like deep on the production with the base camp with Sam.
So that was a huge blessing. Thank you. I mean, the Lexikon 2.0 project has so many people that have been a part of it through the years. As my listeners would know, that's a project that was recorded, music that was recorded over 10 years ago and eventually came to see the light. So I got the SAMRO funding for that. NFVF, I was a producer on an amazing film called Father's Seed that is currently in post-production. And NAC funding, I was very blessed to get NAC funding for my community project, which is called Peace 4. So we started it in 2022. We did Peace for Sydenham. Then 2023, we did Peace for Wentworth, which is the first one I got NAC funding for. And the second one, which is still pending, is Peace for Newlands, free concert in the park, which we are still in the planning phase of. And yeah, Peace 4 is my baby. It's really it's a beautiful vision that I have to go into communities that are affected by gang violence and drug-related crime and host free concerts in the park for people who live in that community, just to celebrate, to have joy, to have fun, to have a sense of community and safety, to enjoy local musicians, to have messages of hope from various community and religious leaders. So sorry, coming back to what you asked though, because I've worked in almost every facet of the music industry, be it behind the bar, or be it at the door, or be it artist or event organizer, I'm very big on giving back and showing value art. So thank you so much for seeing that. As much as we can offer each other favors, I feel like the Durban music and creative industry can only grow if we see each other as equals and if we pay for those services. Even if we cannot pay the full fee, cost, but at least give something to show value and appreciation. Exactly. So for me, I was so grateful that you showed up on the video. I mean, my cousin Laken, I'm sorry Laken, my cousin that's Lamage, my cousin Laken was supposed to show up that day for the music video because she's in the Pretty Boys music video. But somehow she couldn't make it that day. And Slim Dog Millionaire, shout out.
Hey,
we were shooting with the Slim, no Mellow, and we needed someone else on the show. Listen to me. We needed someone else on the music video for dynamic. We wanted a beautiful second female to just for the one or two seeds, to balance visually. And somehow, Arts, you were available, and I hired the Zulu traditional wear from you. And Slim was like, Oscar, if she's busy. I was like, damn, okay, that's dope. So next thing, we're Ubering Arts, and Arts. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But yes, I love supporting other artists. I love being able to pay other artists. I love being a vessel for abundance. I think if anything, we need to heal our minds when it comes to the concept of abundance. So many of us, we were raised in families where a mindset of lack or stereotypes or cliches like there's not enough money or there's not enough jobs, and people hear these things, kids hear these things on repeat, and they begin to think that it's truth, but it's not truth, because the patterns that we develop mentally will always show out in our lives, in our outward manifestations. So for me, I love being able to give. I've been very blessed to receive, and so it's such a blessing to be able to give.
And I like the turn this podcast is taking a little bit. I feel like because now talking about stereotypes and stuff, how is it like being colored? Because I know it's one of the most important things to you, being colored, and Peace 4, you do it for your community.
That's true.
And as a colored woman in South Africa, given your history of being colored, how is that also, like, how does that play a role in you being an artist in the industry? Does it open doors? Does it close doors? How is the dynamic?
So I worked with the South African National AIDS Council in the sports, arts and culture sector for about 6 years.
Okay.
I worked in the NPO space.
Yes.
I was very, very blessed to be in that space. We were, working with young people. This was when I was based in Joburg. We were going out to the townships. We were conducting workshops with young people, doing a lot of youth development and things like that. And after being in that space for so long, it occurred to me that we are investing so much into, and for me, even the division between black and colored is so abstract.
For me,
it's like a white man came and said, "We're dividing you like this, and this is,
Because of what? Maybe mainly hair texture. Because you look, we're almost the same.
And we share grandparents at the end of the day. So. Anyway, but but it occurred to me that we were working a lot in what one can consider black townships, and I started thinking about it, because I was also living away from my daughter at the time, and I was working with other people's daughters, other people's children, and I started to do a lot of self-reflection, and I'm like, Hey!
Hey, I know what you're talking about.
I started to do a lot of self-reflection. I'm like, actually, I need to be there for my daughter. My daughter's about to be a teenager now, and I need to be there for her. I also, when I came back to Durban, my cousins enlightened me on what was happening in our colored communities, and I just felt in my spirit, I can do something about it, and not to say I'm the only person. There are other amazing community leaders that are doing such beautiful work. Darian Smith is one of the people in Wentworth doing amazing work. The ward councillor in Newlands, Councillor Peterson, he's doing amazing work. There's so many amazing community leaders that we've been able to walk alongside and work with, and just contribute where we can. So I think it's about self-reflection art, because I came to a point where I was like, okay, I am giving to all these people, but when it comes to home, when it comes to Durban, when it comes to my family, when it comes to my daughter, what am I giving? So as much as I was living the life in Joburg, constantly seen on red carpets with celebs, wada, one has to really ask themselves at the end of the day, what am I doing to help my family?
Because who said this, but if you really want to change the world, I think it's Mother Teresa or something. But also, if you really want to change your world, go home and love your family.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Everything started home.
And then if you love your family, no one in that family is going to go out and terrorize anyone else. That means the world is safe. But then going back into the music, how then do you reflect that in your music and your journey? How is your writing process?
Thank you for that question. So I feel like when I started rapping, Mshigo will know I was a very angry teenager.
That's why Becky was there, like she was ready.
like most teenagers, I was very frustrated. I was very angry. There was a lot of hurt, and the rapping gave me a channel to vent that. Just like Eminem. Eminem started off very angry and hurt. And then we see him is more chilled now because through the creative process we heal. Expression is healing as opposed to repression, which is keeping it in, right? So naturally, if you continue expressing throughout your life, you will eventually heal, So it's been a process. As people know, I think when we worked with Maleningi, I think that was some of my most ratchet shit. I think I was just dating the wrong people. But there's been a lot of personal growth, and definitely there's a reflection of my writing in my living and in my life, like with my latest single, Frisk, that I dropped I think about a month or two ago. Frisk is so chilled. Frisk is about peace, Hey,
that's cool.
Take us back with that album that made you being nominated. I'm not sure, Best Female Hip Hop.
Thank you, Mshigo. I'd like to go through my discography. So the Lexikon, in fact, the first mixtape that I released, Sketches in the Mind, under Lexikon.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was nominated for Best Female and Best Mixtape at the very first South African Hip Hop Awards.
Wow.
That was epic. Thank you.
That's huge. Very epic.
And then that was 2011. Then 2012 we dropped the single From the Head with the Nut Scratchers and Where's My Meds. 2014 the Purple Velvet pre-release mix came out. That was when after the Germany and European tour. Then after that was the Hlanganisa mixtape. Then after that was Honey Bass. Then after Honey Bass was 22, the EP. Then after 22 was NewWorldDaughter. Then after NewWorldDaughter, a whole lot of singles and collaborations and things. Oh, and of course the Lexikon 2.0 project.
Yes.
So yeah, there's about 7-8 bodies of work, and a lot of singles and collaborations.
And I want to take you back when you said non-scratchers. That's Sosha and Rowan.
Sosha and Rowan, and they were working with Where's My Meds, who I'm actually gonna see after this.
And then with the tour as well, when I take you back on what we were saying, you were touring maybe 3 countries.
It was amazing in 2014.
Where you went actually?
Germany, Austria, and Switzerland.
Nice.
We did 15 performances in under 5 weeks.
15.
I was the fittest I've ever been in my life. If you want to go on Instagram and check 2014, Lex was the fittest then. But it was beautiful. I went with DJ Duap, who's from Joburg.
Yes, I know Duap.
I love Duap. She's amazing.
She looks great.
Oh, she's
Like
amazing. And it was an all-female hip-hop tour.
Yes.
And it was epic. I mean, I definitely grew a lot from that. Also understanding how well organized things work, because the Germans are staunch. 3 o'clock is 3 o'clock.
Like backpacking, time schedule,
And that's also where my love for running, funny enough, came in, because on our days off, when we weren't on tour and weren't performing and we were, based in Berlin, there's an old airport that's no longer used, and myself and Duap would go running, because when you're on the road, your body's stiff, you're sitting still, so the running, my love for running developed in 2014 in Berlin, and I'm still running now, and I'm part of Holy Fits. One day. But I joined a running community called Holy Fits here in Durban. It's young, creative, people of color. I love it. It's a great way to manage stress and look dope.
The fit must fit, Pela.
With the journey even of being a poet, and then that experience take you to being a judge for Poetry Africa.
Oh yeah.
Tell us more about that as well.
Poetry is sacred, guys.
Yeah.
Poetry is sacred. Poetry is very sacred.
Yes.
You could think that hopping between poetry and hip hop is easy, but it's not. They are 2 different crowds. They're not always the same crowd. The poets attract more intellectual, serious people in life. But it was such a blessing. I love the CCA. I love the Center for Creative Arts at UKZN. I've worked with them on a number of different projects. I've worked with them on Artfluence, on Poetry Africa, on Diff. They are amazing. Shout outs to Dr. Ismail and the entire team. It was beautiful to be recognized. To be recognized for the skill and the expertise to be a judge.
Is it still coming, Poetry Africa?
I think it's every year in October.
But it used to come more this side. We used to have people coming from poets from America coming to the Art Center.
There still are. There still are. Poetry Africa is
I think the difference is that Tina Pella, our generation, not to we're not bashing 2Ks now. You guys are doing amazing. They actually have 2K in mind, but our sellers are 2K. Then understand the digital world. But when it came to us, we showed up a lot. So when it came to Poetry Africa, you would know what's going to Poetry Africa because we'd show up in numbers. My cipher would show up in numbers.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
But they show up digitally.
The room would be fully packed.
Packed.
And the love of the poetry. You know,
I think my favorite Poetry Africa was when Godessa came, and then when a second one when Sol Williams came.
Oh yes, I remember that one. With
those ones were epic because
that was great.
And M2K they mostly show up digitally, and that's how Iman is made right now. And Tina, we showed up physically, and obviously physically is still very much important as well because that's the people that buy your tickets and they show up to watch your performances. But then how were you able to maneuver because in the revolution of 4, right? We went through the industrial revolution, we went through the digital revolution.
That's true.
Internet I figure like Tina, but we still played outside, you know. I'm a phone I figure like Tina. But now I'm coming from performing at Best Center and submitting to MTV or radio physically to now having to make sure you do a TikTok every day. How's the transition been?
I feel like I'm still learning. Because personally I don't like overexposure, and I feel like the digital world demands that you record everything. But honestly, from a psychological perspective, I don't think that shit is healthy.
It's not.
I just saw something on TikTok yesterday, a couple that are famous, the man, God forbid, but he murdered his wife after a live. I personally don't think living your life online can be very healthy. But that's just me. The transition, it's something that one has to learn. But at the same time, I'm also big on privacy. And I'm big on self-time. Because I'm big on mental health. I feel like we need to first make sure we are okay here before we can give of ourselves to others. And I think when you're constantly giving to others, there's little time for self-reflection. But hey, we're growing up in this. We are a social experiment. We are gonna see how this turns out. I mean, we've never been here before like this. We've never showed up in the world like this before.
And I like the fact that I'm sorry, Mchigo, I'm gonna put you guys on the spot though, because I need a sci-fi nyana. But because Kona Olexi Namika Saiki, I really think it's important for us as creatives to indulge more in mental health, because I feel like we've been in a constant session like this. I feel so calm, right? Lex is like,
thank you.
We're in therapy right now, right? But okay, like Njogo Boshuguti, another unfortunately, he murdered his wife on TikTok, and I feel like TikTok is so censored. In TikTok you have to say unalived, meaning we masking the actual things that are actually happening. Another lady, she also killed herself because of TikTok comments and stuff like that. And I think it's important as an artist, given what we go through, having to pay for recording fees. Bona like TV go to taxini khona wathi mina akucharge ukuthi ushintshe lapha hawe mali umuntu uthi acharge ukuthi ushintshe la taxini yabo. So all those things they go into your mind and they stay, and they also affect your performance. But then circling back to the music and to how can we make it because now we all know psychologically, subconscious it absorbs everything, even if including in music the message. So how can we be more responsible as an artist of the kind of message that we're sending to the public, that it doesn't really destroy society but it actually uplifts it? Do you keep that in mind when you're writing?
I feel like whatever the output is, whether it's speaking, emailing, messaging, texting, performing, writing, I feel like I have a responsibility to show up in a certain way and of a certain vibration. But I also feel like music and songs are they capture a moment in time, and I don't feel like artists can ever be judged on one song. I feel like our lives are the testimony.
Yeah.
You know, and one song is always going to capture a moment in our life and bear witness and testimony to that moment. And we all have so many varied moments.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're sober, sometimes we're lit, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, and that's okay. It's a safe space.
Yeah.
You know, all of it, all the emotions are welcome, and that's okay. And I don't think it's fair to judge an artist on one song or one moment either, because we're always going to get better. We're always going to grow. We're always going to realize our mistakes and repent from them. You know, that's the grace of God.
Nice.
But yeah, I feel like we definitely have that responsibility, especially once you're conscious, once you're a parent, once you realize the power and the influence you have on young people. There's something in you that changes. You know, like my younger cousins, you know, after a few years ago, they're like, Ashley, why do you swear so much in your songs? And I was like, hey. You know? So my listeners, I don't know if they realize, but over the years, as I've grown, I swear less. Because not because I don't want to swear, but because I'm less angry and and also because I know that the kids are listening. You know? So I think there's always that amount of responsibility as someone older to realize that there's always going to be someone younger who's listening, who's watching, who's observing, and who wants to emulate and do what you do.
I'm on the biggest side of doing psychology. But I want to leave it up to you guys, man. My hip hop cats, man.
No, I just want to go back to something that you did mention, working with iFunny. You know that project or that song just made Durban proud. You know, when things like that happen for us,
thank you,
because we are the OGs. You are a legend. You know, you've been in the industry and doing hip hop. And now on the screen with iFunny, and that track was like everywhere on TV.
Flex and Sushi Dip are amazing songs. I can never take that away. Those songs made history. I love those songs. I loved working with iFunny. Don't ever get me wrong. I loved working with iFunny.
Another genius.
There are very few people who can match my energy on stage performing, and I think he felt the same way. So we could match each other's energy on stage and bring that to life. And also he's so playful, and I think that also comes with intelligence, you know, because when you're intelligent, you can laugh at yourself, you know, and not take yourself too seriously. And I think he has that. But
now,
thank you.
The reason why I'm talking about it, you know, abantu sebenza nabo noma bazi from back then, when you see them on screen, it's like you've made it yourself. At home, like your family is like, hey, I know her. Like the video was super amazing. You know, like you've done a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I guess now with that experience and with that knowledge, I really want to help others.
Yes, nice.
There's so many young artists that if we don't help them, they're gonna end up with these greedy, deceitful people.
Especially females.
We have to protect our artists. We have to protect our young women in music and arts. We have to be there for them. We have to be there for our daughters, for our sons, because we're there now. You know,
both.
I think we're going to do that. Like even in future, we doing collaborations for Creative Unplugged podcast. We have a project now that is like cooking. You know,
I love what y'all are doing. I'm gonna say that on screen. I love what you guys are doing.
Your energy is always there. You know when Lex is around. You know,
thank you so much.
So your message to the young ones out there, like who want to do the same. Because you spoke about music, you spoke about the TV and
mental health,
you know, doing psychology,
being a mom.
You know, being a mom. So what's your message to the youth out there?
Get to know yourself. Self-discovery is very, very important. Get to know your strengths, your weaknesses, because then other people can't use it against you. Know your purpose. Write down what it is, what you want to do. Be about that administration. Empower yourself. Educate yourself, because the more you educate yourself, the more you can take the leading step, and people cannot take advantage of you. So definitely educate yourself and love what you do. And always wake up and give thanks in the morning. Always.
Love what you do
and do what you love.
There's something that we normally forget on like thanking like people we've worked with in the past. Maybe we can just
for sure.
take this moment.
I would love that.
You know,
I would
highlight
love
those
that.
few people and said thanks to them, you know, because they contributed
definitely
in your journey.
There's so many people. I mean, much love to Aifani, to Lutando Sitole, to Lwazi Duma, to Mabalane Mfundisi, to even Lindsay Thompson, who's my now mentor in the entertainment world. There's so many people, to the Nut Scratchers, Where's My Meds. I might even be forgetting some of them, but thank you to people like To The Ta. For putting us on the stage, you know. Thank you to everyone who's ever put me on a stage, who's invited me to a gig. Shout outs to George, DJ Night Vision. Shout outs to Yashna, to Miss Andy. Shout outs to Where's My Meds, to Dave Ordinary. There's so many amazing artists and creatives in Durban. And shout outs to you guys.
Creative Unplugged podcast, you know. And then, Achal, do you have anything in your mind before we wrap up?
Hey, Vince, I always say the same thing. I'm always in awe of the people that are sitting across us. To see like with Creative Unplugged podcast. Because in Miami, I was here sitting in that same chair once upon a time. Actually, not even once upon a time, a few months ago. And I fell in love with this space, and I'm very grateful to be part of it. But I'm also very proud of people like you, women like you in the industry, especially in such a segregated, you know. I'm not gonna say it's not too segregated. I think we've done very well for ourselves in South Africa. But at the same time, you represent a community that needs more people like you. So, props.
Thank you so much. I'm hugging you, Bluetooth.
do you have any song that you wanna share with us?
And the guys, when are you guys ciphering?
Oh, you want us to cipher?
Frisk, I'm not doing a song. Oh, we're ciphering.
Cipher.
Anything, G.
Okay, do a beatbox.
Yeah, do the
freestyle.
Go, lead us.
So we're creative. We unplug for sure. Yazi ukuthi Mhliko ukunika more. Buka ke ngomqondo ngishaya itho uphumeze keep ifone bese shaya ifoto. Ngitshele ukuthi ngithanda ukurapper. Achata ibeat yakho ukahle uklepha. Makhona Lex la sekuzophepha ngiyadlala shaya phetha fela sifuna amaphepha.
Lex LaFoy, here by the coast with Mhliko and our child, they be the hosts. If you didn't know, Lex do the most. Hey, I know, abantu bazo post. Yes, vele siyasipha. Don't do too much or else kuzo trip her.
We had to.
Why are you putting us on the spot?
I'm so sorry, guys. No, because nice. I know you guys individually and I know you guys keep.
That was nice. So yeah, I was saying,
girl, that beatbox on the table was fast.
I love it. No more saying this on the freestyle, stop it, and then you stopped, and then I was like, okay, that basically was funny. So any song that you wanna do for us, perform? One track.
Is there a beat or
no, you're gonna perform your latest single, babe.
I love Frisk.
Okay.
I love Frisk.
Of course.
Okay.
Nice. Later on, we're going to.
Amazing.
Yes. That's how we do. And then about back to lab, where can they get hold of you? Yes, on socials.
Yeah, they can find me on the socials. I'm Lex LaFoy, Lex, and my surname LaFoy, LaFoy. I'm everywhere on the socials.
Nice. And Archild?
Yes, guys, my name is Archild Africa with a double I and a K, not a C. All social media platforms. Also, please follow us on the Creatives Unplugged podcast, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as well as our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like.
Yeah, sinthanda kakhulu. Bye bye yini. Sesiyaphuma siyavalelisa sithi